what you see right here, if you look in that back kind of left-hand corner, is you actually see the flight helmet and goggles worn by Imperial Japanese Navy pilot Saburo Sakai. Now, during the opening days of the battle for Guadalcanal in August of 1942, if you can see kind of at the top right there, his goggles, he was actually shot, he was actually struck by an American TBM Avenger, and the bullet ricocheted off his goggle, off that top goggle piece right there, and then into his helmet. So what actually happened is that knocked him unconscious. He woke up actually a few minutes later, literally flying upside down, not kind of not realizing where he was. He was able to right his plane and then land. Saburo Sakai actually was a Japanese ace. And this piece is really interesting because after the war, he survived the war. After this incident, he wasn't able to fly anymore, so he did training for the Japanese Imperial Army. The Japanese Imperial Navy. So what he did is after his training, after the war, his daughter actually moved to the United States. On one of his visits to visit his daughter, he actually found out about this museum, and he came down here, and he actually became a good friend of the museum. So he actually spoke at a lot of our symposiums and a lot of our conferences, and then that's when he donated this particular artifact, which is incredible, with just the backstory and stuff like that. What also makes it sort of fun, and this is kind of, really what we're all about here at the museum, is telling the stories and connecting the stories to modern day and its relevance, is that one of these conferences, there was a World War II veteran, an American World War II veteran, who was at Guadalcanal. And after Sakai talked, this World War II veteran came up and he told Saburo Sakai, "You shot me down." And we weren't sure what the reaction was going to be like. And Saburo Sakai says, "Well, I shot a lot of people down. I don't know if it was you or not." So anyway, they talked, and as the American pilot kind of described what happened, Saburo he was quite nice. He actually said, "Oh yes, I remember you. You were a good pilot. You were very hard to shoot down." And then the American pilot obviously replied, "Well, you were a much better pilot because you shot me down." And they actually became friends after that. So they actually stayed in communication after that. But it's just a really cool human interest story and human interest artifact right there as part of our collection.